Yo, so just wanted to record this quick video going over a system that I've built that's essentially gonna allow you to generate payment links automatically based on the amount that has been agreed on a sales call, right? So usually what happens with payment links is that people generate payment links beforehand, especially if you use Whop, right? And the closer is essentially constrained by those amounts there. What this allows you to do is give the closer full freedom and flexibility to negotiate a price on the call, and then he will input that price inside of the contract, and then whenever the contract is signed, that's going to then trigger this workflow here, generate the payment link, and send it to the user, all done automatically, right? So the first thing that you need to do to set up this workflow is add a webhook step as the trigger of the whole Zap. And this is going to give you obviously the webhook URL that you can then paste inside of the webhook section inside of PandaDoc, right? If that's for example, the software that you use for managing your contracts, right? So that whenever the contract gets signed, that's going to then trigger this automation here, and then we can pass the data from the contract to the rest of the workflow. And then we're going to have two paths inside of the workflow, right? One, in case we have a monthly recurring payment, and one for paid in fulls, essentially, right? So for the filters of the paths, we're essentially going to check for a value that has been sent by PandaDoc, right? Because inside of the contract, I've put a checkbox that the closer is going to tick if that's a recurring payment. So if that's a recurring payment, the checkbox is going to send true as the value. In that case, the automation is going to branch. Then we're going to have a formatter by Zapier step, and that's simply because of the way that PandaDoc sends the data through the webhook, right? It basically calls a lot of values, body data fields value, and this also includes the amount that I have put for this test contract, right, which is 2K. And because of that, we need to extract this obviously from the entire value, the entire variable. And because of that, we're going to use a formatter by Zapier step. We're going to set the comma as the separator, segment index all as separate fields, and then that's going to give us essentially the different variables broken down individually, right? So we're going to have 2K and then the different dates, but we don't care about those. And then for the code step, we have to select JavaScript. And then here we have the API key that I've taken from my Whop account. For the price, I've just mapped it to the previous step, and it's 2K, as you can see, from the formatter by Zapier step. And then here I have the code, I can leave that below. And this is essentially going to make an HTTP request to Whop to generate that payment link, right? And then if I go to test, here you can see that we have our payment link. So I'm gonna open it inside of a new tab. And here you can see it's 2K, which is the price that we have set. Initial fee, total after 30 days, 2K per month, total due today is 2K, and they can just pay. And then if you want, you can also add here, for example, a Gmail step or whatever email provider you use, so that you can send that payment link automatically to the client's email, right? So we would once again just take the email address from the contract, because PandaDoc obviously in this webhook here also send us the email address. So we can just use that in order to send the actual payment link through an email to the client. And then this branch here, it's basically the same thing. We obviously don't have a filter because it's just a fallback branch. And then we want to have the same step, formatter by Zapier. And then in the code by Zapier, it's pretty much the same thing. It's only a bit different. A few variables are different because obviously this is a one-time payment link. It's a paid in full. And because of that, there are a few minor changes in the code, but the setup is pretty much the exact same. And same thing as for this branch here. Here you can add a Gmail step, and then you can use this to put the payment link inside of an email and then send that email to the actual client so that they can receive that all done automatically. So yeah, this is it for this video. Let me know what you think down below and hope this was valuable.